Y'all remember that clip of Commissioner Cox being asked about Kelly Dever and the meeting that they had in his office?
Your name came up during the recent Karen Reed trial. You got a visit from Officer Kelly Dever. The defense implied that you influenced her testimony. Do you want to respond to that?
I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was associated with the Karen Reed case.
Kelly Dever? Never even heard of her. Karen Reed? Don't even know that name. Didn't know she was on trial. I know see nothing. I know hear nothing. I don't know nothing. What are you, the Italian mafia, Cox? Let's talk about it. You must follow the law. The law says...
Glorious. Is it a lawsuit? Probably. Why not?
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Buckle Up. It's the Law with Attorney Larry Forman. Folks, today we are going to cover one of the most amazing letters I think I have read in recent times. Action Jackson just called out Commissioner Cox to his direct boss, Mayor Michelle Wu, the mayor of Boston, Massachusetts. Folks, this is one of the most beautifully written letters I have ever seen in my life, and I want to go over it with you. Now, for those of you who may remember, during the Karen Reed trial, there was a witness by the name of Kelly Dever, who was actually called by the defense to testify because the prosecution would have never in a million years called her to testify. She was the one in charge of the cameras in the back whilst in the Sally Port all the shenanigans were going on with the breaking of the taillights, separating it from the car, the SUV, and then planting the pieces by whoever planted the pieces. Obviously, Canton Police Department was involved because it was their Sally Port. Proctor, Higgins, Buchanan, all of those people are all directly involved. Let me give you guys the timeline. February 21st, 2024. We are about 5 weeks before the beginning of Karen Reed's second jury trial. Over 3,000 FBI documents get released to the public with respect to the investigation. Kelly Dever gets questioned by the FBI the next day on February 22nd, where she admits she was at the cameras. She gives statements that she saw certain things, that she saw, I believe it was Higgins and maybe the chief of Canton PD at the time, going into the Sally Port and staying there for a long period of time. And then the next day, she was called into Commissioner Cox's office, where he allegedly told her to just say the truth, just tell the truth, and everything will be fine, which I think is completely bogus. He probably told her, it's time to change your story, honey. If you want to stay on the force, if you want to stay with us, which by the way, she's no longer on the force. She has been given the boot already. But at the time, you know, she had to be given some incentive. Not only that, she even got a raise, a significant raise. For a rookie police officer, she was making as much as officers that have been in the force for 15 years. She was on the force like 2 or 3 years at that time. Again, that's why she was manning the cameras. She was still learning. She was an inexperienced rookie in the field, Kelly Dever. So Commissioner Cox gave her a significant raise, told her to keep her mouth shut, and change her story, in which she actually testified in the second trial, called on by the defense, where she said, and I quote, "I must have told the FBI a false memory of the events that transpired. I had a false memory of what happened." What the hell is a false memory, folks?
I am put on the stand in a murder trial. I don't know why I'm here. I have no connection to this case.
Did you observe anything unusual that stood out in your mind that occurred, pardon me, in the Sally Port while you were on that ship?
So we've discussed this previously. I can't make that statement on the stand because I've been provided information released by the defense that it was not a memory, that it was a distorted memory. Therefore, I can't state it because at this point it would be a lie. I cannot make that statement that you're wanting me to make on the stand because I've advised that that would be a lie.
Ms. Dever, I've never asked you to make a statement one way or the other on the stand. I'm asking you an open-ended question.
Okay,
Did you? Let me ask you a question. Did you observe something in the Sally Port garage on January 29th, 2022 that you found unusual, that stuck out in your mind?
Given factual information that makes it so I know I did not. No.
So the answer is no.
Correct.
Do you remember being interviewed on August 9th, 2023?
I do.
That was by a separate law enforcement agency, correct?
Yes.
2 separate law enforcement agents, is that right?
Yes.
And you were advised during the course of that interview on August 29th of something, correct?
Can you rephrase
I'm sorry,
that?
August 9th.
So what was I advised of? Can you rephrase that?
Sure. Were you advised that lying to those officers would be a crime?
So it was a willing conversation. I've spoken with their legal team. Because of the fact I was provided factual information that showed a statement of mine was a false memory, it was not a lie. Therefore, I made it in good faith, and I retracted given information that it could not be accurate.
Ms. Dever, did you understand my question?
Yes, I did. You threatened to charge me with perjury during our phone call prior to the first trial if I didn't lie on the stand right now. I'm telling you, I did not see anything. Factually, I've been provided evidence by a timeline that it is not correct.
I have never in my life heard of anything as ludicrous as false memory. So I had a memory, and then it changed because of things that I saw on TV, and I thought that I said that this was what I saw, but then I realized that it wasn't it. So you're lying. That's what you're saying. The false memory is, so you are lying. Thank you very much. Anyway, have a great day. Come on. But that's not even the worst part. Commissioner Cox, earlier this year in July, was asked point blank, did you or did you not have a meeting with Kelly Dever in February of 2024? And I'm sorry, I think I said in the second trial, she was interviewed before the first trial, not the second trial. I apologize if I did misspeak there. But here's the beautiful part. FOIA, Freedom of Information Act request records have confirmed that the meeting did, in fact, happen. And it happened on February 23rd, 2024, just shy of 7 weeks before the first trial was set to begin. The defense didn't even know about Dever to the point where they didn't even call her as a witness in the first trial. Now, they subpoenaed her and she testified in the second trial, of course, under duress, as one might as one might think. And Alan Jackson, in the most spectacular fashion yesterday, carved Cox a new one. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel. He writes to Mayor Michelle Wu, the mayor of Boston. The Honorable Michelle Wu, this is for immediate Brady listing and post-review. Commissioner Michael Cox. For the record, by the way, for those of you who may not be familiar what a Brady list is, there is a case called Brady versus Maryland. It is a very, very famous case. When the government fails to disclose exculpatory evidence about a defendant, you can later get that case dismissed. You may recall a very famous, most recent Brady violation was in the Alec Baldwin case in New Mexico of last year, where the prosecution failed to disclose potentially exculpatory evidence of bullets that were turned over to the prosecution by a witness from the set of Rust. But those bullets were intentionally withheld from the defense. And in that case was also Prosecutor Morrissey, of all things. Morrissey actually took the stand and testified, tried to get the judge not to dismiss the case, but unfortunately for her, there was a really good judge in that case, and the judge dismissed the case with flying colors for a Brady violation. That's what that's called. That's a Brady violation. And there is a list of all officers who withhold evidence, all prosecutors who hide evidence. There is a national list known as the Brady list. And that list includes a lot of officers who have lied and withheld evidence, exculpatory evidence that could have helped acquit individuals. Okay? So Alan Jackson is urging Mayor Wu to include Commissioner Cox on this Brady list. Let's read on. Madam Mayor and Director Zuniga, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, I hope so. Boston Police Commissioner Michael Cox has been caught in a lie. Oh, it's coming out swinging, I love it. And not a small one. Jackson writes, on July 10th, 2025, Commissioner Cox publicly denied any connection to the Karen Reed case to Officer Kelly Dever. He was asked about the allegations that he met with Dever before she was called to testify in the first retrial in 2024. I honestly don't recall her testifying. She must have testified for the prosecution because I don't recall her testimony, but that's just me. I definitely know she testified in the second trial. And that he told her to, quote unquote, do the right thing, end quote. In his unequivocal denial, Cox stated, quote, I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person, Kelly Dever, was associated with the Karen Reed case. he doubled down. I was struck like, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed case? I've never said those words together. So the fact is, it's much to do about nothing. Oh, Coxie, what are you doing? Those statements were false, patently false. Commissioner Cox, the head of Boston Police Department, actually asked, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed case? The answer is obvious, Jackson goes on. One of his officers was dead, murdered, and the victim's body was discovered in the front yard of another Boston police officer. For the commissioner to suggest that he had nothing to do with the case defies both logic and leadership. This guy is a leader. He's supposed to be aware of where his officers are, what they're doing, the happenstances and everything, especially when a Boston cop turns on the front lawn of another Boston cop. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm just the commissioner of Boston PD. I don't have anything to do with Boston cop on Boston cop crime. Is this a joke? Common sense tells us he had everything to do with it. Newly obtained evidence proves that Cox knowingly, with knowledge, misrepresented intentionally his involvement. On February 22nd, 2024, the FBI's Boston field office sent Commissioner Cox an email explicitly referencing Dever and the Reed investigation. The email from Assistant Special Agent in Charge Stephen Kelleher to Cox stated, quote, just a reminder, the documents were released to the DA's office late last night. The officer we spoke about is Kelly Dever. The next day, February 23rd, 2024 at 11 a.m., Cox's official calendar lists a meeting with Officer Kelly Dever, exactly as Dever would later testify and Cox would blatantly deny. The timeline is indisputable. Do you realize what this man is doing? Cox, that is. He just cannot, for his own political sake, because, you know, all politicians lie. We all know that. He just simply cannot help himself. He just has to lie. He's so used to it, to him, it's like second nature. It's just like, Dever, never heard of her. Karen Reed, who's that? Boston cops? I don't even work for them. Oh my God. Cox's televised claim that he, quote, had nothing to do with Karen Reed and didn't even know this person, Kelly Dever, was associated with the Karen Reed case was a bald-faced lie. One now disproven by documentary evidence originating from the FBI itself. It doesn't get much better than this, folks. It really doesn't. As the head of the law enforcement agency, Commissioner Cox is an officer pursuant to Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 6E, Section 1. When a police commissioner lies about his own contacts with the FBI and meetings with an implicated officer, he forfeits the credibility and integrity his oath requires. That is the very definition of the Brady-Giglio violation. Under Brady versus Maryland and Giglio versus United States, there are two brother-sister cases, if you want to look at them that way. Brady-Giglio is the standard, but Brady is the more commonly referred to case. Prosecutors have an affirmative duty to disclose any evidence of dishonesty by government witness or official in every case where the official might either testify or influence the testimony or evidence provided by others. Hello? Commissioner Cox now fits squarely within that category. No surprise there. Accordingly, he urges Mayor Wu, Commissioner Cox must be referred for immediate inclusion on the Brady list maintained by the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office. In addition, the Post Commission must initiate a full disciplinary review for dishonesty, lack of candor, and conduct on becoming an officer under Department Policy Section 102, which mandates that, quote, employees shall conduct themselves at all times both on and off duty in such a manner as to reflect most favorably to the department, end quote, which Cox failed, obviously, to do in this case. This is not a political issue, Jackson goes on. It is a question of credibility and public trust, which has been very slowly eroded, these are my words, and very quickly, for some of you, I'm sure. When Boston's top, Jackson goes on, law enforcement officer lies about his own knowledge of a case under federal scrutiny, the stain spreads across the entire system. It's like a cancer, folks. It's like a cancer that just spreads its tentacles of danger, and it infects everything it touches. You have to amputate it at the source, start anew, start fresh, and that will allow the healing to begin. Now, I don't know if that's possible, but we can at least try rather than just let this cancer permeate. I agree with Jackson 100%. Accountability cannot stop at the commissioner's door. Exactly. The people of Massachusetts, Jackson concludes, deserve law enforcement leaders who tell the truth, not those who hide behind it. In light of the documented evidence now in the public record, there is only one responsible course. Add Commissioner Cox to the Brady list and open an immediate post-inquiry. Sincerely, Alan Jackson, attorney for Karen Reed. Oh my God, folks. Oh my God. I am in heaven right now. Like, this doesn't get much better than this, folks. This doesn't get much better than this. We have seen so much corruption, stacked upon more corruption, stacked upon more corruption. And slowly but surely, all of these guilty parties are starting to fall apart. We have over, do you understand, folks? We have over a dozen police officers who have either been put on desk duty, have been completely terminated, who have been fired, left of their own volition, all who had some involvement in the Karen Reed case. Do you understand the level of corruption? This is like, I keep talking about this movie because it's so relevant here. Al Pacino in Serpico. This is like New York in the 1960s. If you've not seen that movie, folks, when you watch it, you'll be like, Boston PD, NYPD, like, show me the difference. I don't see a difference. Alan Jackson just wrote this magnificent piece, and I'm totally fangirling over it. And I hope that Mayor Wu will take action. Honestly, my gut is telling me that nothing is going to be done here. As it always happens, these letters just get ignored, buried, and forgotten about, because who are you? Mr. Jackson, is it? Yeah, don't know, don't care, some California lawyer. Go have fun, play in the Plymouth Circuit Court. Deal with your defendant in that civil case that they're suing her for millions of dollars for the death of John O'Keefe. Not my lane, not my problem. Get this guy out of here. Oh, it's disgusting, folks. It is disgusting, and I can't. I am personally responsible, I'll toot my own horn here for just a second. I'm personally responsible for stripping 8 police officers of their title and getting them fired. Every single one, I am proud. I can give you guys the exact reason why they were let go. And I'm proud of every single one. Why? Because every single one was either a Brady cop or they just made a huge egregious violation of my client's rights. And those numbers are going to keep on stacking, especially as I continue with my personal injury journey. And if you need an attorney for a car accident, medical malpractice, medical negligence, dog bite, we do all those. 1-844-774-HURT. Trial lawyers, folks. Trial lawyers like Alan Jackson, like David Yannetti, like Larry Forman. We get you guys money, like real money, unlike these other guys who just, they settle, they take the first number. Insurance companies actually fear these guys. They fear us because they know that we can take it to trial, and we're good at it. That's the key. Anybody can be a trial lawyer. To be a good trial lawyer, that's where the real money is. Anyway, all right. Folks, I'm really looking forward to seeing some development here. I don't know if we're going to see it in our lifetime. I really don't know if Mayor Wu has got to step up. She has to do something about it. You can't have a commissioner on video blatantly, openly lying to the world.
Your name came up during the recent Karen Reed trial. You got a visit from Officer Kelly Dever. The defense implied that you influenced her testimony. Do you want to respond to that?
I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was associated with the Karen Reed case. I have an organization full of over 3,000 people, and we support all our folks. And the reality is that, I get information passed on, whether people are high or low, and I encourage everyone, right? And if you're going to work here and you belong here, then we're going to encourage you. I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed. No discussion about
Did you tell Officer Dever to do the right thing?
I didn't know she was even associated with that case. So, I don't know. I was struck, like, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed case? I never had said those words together. And so the fact is, it's much to do about nothing. We have employees here that we have to develop and encourage and do things, and I do that for tons of our employees.
Do you feel that you were inappropriately drawn into this?
Thank you.
That case is over, and we've got a lot of other stuff to talk about. I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. I was in the state of Michigan.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Say, I don't know nothing, I don't see nothing. What are you, a part of the Irish Mafia here, Cox? You are a government employee. As George Carlin once said, hey, you're a public servant. Go get me a glass of water. I pay your salary. And you know what? It's a little egregious, but he's right. That's the sad part. These people are public servants. Commissioner Cox works for us, the public. And if he's going to openly, unapologetically, sincerely deceive the public about a meeting that he knows he had, then it's a problem, folks. And he's got to go. He can't stay. I'm angry. I'm very angry. Maybe, if he had at least been honest and been like, yeah, I had the meeting and I told her to tell the truth, I wouldn't give him a pass, but I would at least be like, all right, well, we need to know the real contents of that meeting. I would pry in and I would say, okay, well, at least you admitted it. Thank you for that. You're not a total schmuck, as we all assumed you to be, like we are now. You're giving us some information. You're giving us some stuff. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Dig deeper. But when you just... I just can't. I can't. When you blatantly just lie, when there is a paper trail, like, did you think nothing is going to get found out? Are you just milking the clock? What? I said that. Are you going to be like my ex-girlfriend? Well, I said that 3 months ago. What are you still worried about it? Ah, it's old news. Forget about it. Come on. It's old news. It's from what is that clip? July of 2025. Last I checked, it's almost November. It was a different season back then. I said it in the summer. It's already fall. I mean, come on. Time keeps moving. So should you. Come on. This guy. Him and my statements that I made to the public. Forget about it. Please. Folks, I am beside myself. I am livid. I am angry. I want action. I want justice, not just for Karen Reed, but I can't believe I'm saying this, for Canton PD. Because Commissioner Cox and Kelly Dever have both thrown Canton PD under the bus. Canton PD needs to be exposed for what they did with the taillights, and Kelly Dever is obviously covering for them. But Commissioner Cox and Kelly Dever have both hidden a lot of stuff about Canton PD, and they are both guilty. Because if you remember, like I said, Kelly Dever actually said to the FBI officers that there was a meeting in the Sallyport. And again, I believe it was Higgins and the Canton chief, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was those two. And she said in her testimony in the second trial that those two were there for a lengthy period of time. That she noticed that they were in there for quite some time. Folks, we're going to keep this train moving. I am very excited to share all this information with you as it becomes relevant. For now, we are going to continue with, I believe, Tyler Robinson's hearing is coming up next. And then we are going to dive right in, and I may do them out of order. I haven't really fully decided yet, but we're going to do Raul Valle and his case in Connecticut. It's actually going to be quite interesting because Raul's case didn't have an opening statement, and you're going to have to watch the video to find out why. So folks, I wanted to thank you all for joining me. I hope you all learned something. I love every single one of you, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.